So we did have the 500 subscriber giveaway, so congratulations to all those folks. We did 6 winners. Balkan Knife is international, so for this one we did not have any international winners. So he did say to put that over to Instagram. So we'll have the first Instagram winner once I figure out how to do that. So that will be happening for that side. And also, thank you very much to JT's Knife Life. He did cover some information at the front of his most recent video on the copper matrix. And I appreciate it as far as what he said about it, and also basically his thoughts on some of the content that I'm providing for this channel. So thank you very much for that. And then on that note, I got my copper matrix in today, finally. So we're going to open that up real quick before we get into this knife here. We have 2 boxes that came in, so we're going to see what it is. So we got this one first. Actually, we'll open up with a different knife. So this is also another one that came in too. So this is the Bastion Falcon, and it is a Tanto blade for that. So let's see what is in this one. I don't know where it is. It's in there somewhere. There we go. So very nice cutting on that. This is a D2 blade. No, well, that's awesome. They even included a deck of cards. So thank you to Blade HQ for providing a deck of cards with my matrix. Awesome. I didn't know that they did that. So first time that I got a deck of cards from them, and I will put it to use at some point. So copper matrix, that's going to be this one here. So let's get that a little bit closer here. Yep, so that's the knife there. And I'm thinking I'm actually going to take off that clip while it's kind of patinaing to actually allow for a full patina. I did see JTs that had basically the original coloring underneath the clip, and then everything else was turning. So that one I didn't really. I think it would work out better if you do the whole thing, but I will see. So that's this one here. So fairly nice flip on it. Retention on the lock bar is fairly stiff. So that will probably break in a little bit, but it's all right. So we'll see how that goes along, and I'll just see how that is. But that one just came in, so that is very exciting because we've been waiting a long time for it. A lot of people already have videos up on it because they got it really quick. I just got mine in today, well, basically yesterday at this point. But thank you very much for the cards. Thank you very much for the knife. And then we also do have one for the pass-around group. So that is this one here. So we also have some more artisan knives coming in. So this one is also an artisan knife. So this is what we're going to be having for the pass-around. So thank you very much to Slicey Dicey for passing this one along for the group. And we'll see what this one looks like. Oh, a lot bigger than I thought it was. So this one is fairly nice blade for that. So there's an artisan cutlery blade, and this is going to be the pass-around one. So I'll have a review for this one coming up as well. So those are things that came in. So let's get into that review, because you guys probably tuned in for the Perpetua. I'm also very much last on that for that review. And not that I didn't have it before, but for some reason I was having a hard time coming about to actually do the review for this knife. For one reason or another, I'll kind of talk through that a little bit as far as that information goes, and then just for eye candy, we'll just leave that right there. So for this one, so those are the things that happened with it. Those are things that are going on. So really, we're still working to build that community to allow for discussions, providing specifications you can relate to, so you have an educated decision on your purchases. So this one is the Perpetua. This is the Massdrop Perpetua, and it was built by Millit. So this one is also a TJ Schwarz design. So I really like the designs of TJ. So I kind of follow him along to see what he's building, what he's involved with, and then I'll probably pick things up that he's actually designed. So very much great things for that. This one has Nitro V. So Nitro V, from what I'm kind of researching and everything else, it's kind of 14C28N is kind of where it comes about as far as the steel. So anybody that's more of a metallurgist, if you are finding something a little bit different than that, do let me know in the comments down below as far as what you're finding for the steel. So some people were finding that the Nitro V was rusting. I haven't had any issues with that. Also, there's complaints of the clip bending. Also, didn't have any issues with that for my knife. But those are some of the ones that were coming up as far as some of those concerns with this blade. And then I was really just kind of being stubborn because I was trying to just break in the phosphor bronze washers without loosening up at all. And so I was using it for a while, and that was some of the reason why it took a while to do the review, because I was really just trying to break it in. And then I actually did end up having to just loosen up just a tad, and then it actually does work fairly well for that action for this blade here. And then if anybody is having issues with the pocket clip, they will be working on some of the ones with a little bit different steel or titanium for it. So we're going to look at some of the hand sizing for it. So we'll start off with the adult male hand. We'll kind of do a cross as far as the sizing. So you can actually print this out at home, and then also we'll look at more of an angle where you normally hold the blade. And then we'll roll into adult female hand. So you're going to see that same type of angle as far as going across, and then also in that angled position. So again, you can print that out. It's in the description down below, so that you can print that out. It's to specification, so it's you'll actually match up to what you're seeing on the video, so you can kind of put your hand down, see where your hand is, and also where this blade is going to fall within that. So Nitro V. So we'll do the kind of the charts on this one for the corrosion resistance. And then the hardness side. So hardness for Nitro V is normally about from 60, 62. So it's kind of a higher hardness for this blade. And then wear resistance. And then edge retention. Really, Nitro V is the AEB-L. And then they did have a little bit different formulation for it. So that's kind of that. It's kind of that. It's a new kind of super steel in a sense where it's kind of a hybrid. So it's not going to be the best, but it will be something that you can sharpen well, but take a good edge, and then you'll actually do pretty well for most uses, because you can even use it for marine purposes. So that's why I was also surprised where some folks were having issues with rusting, since it can be used for marine applications. So for this one, there's really only the thumb stud as far as the deployment method. And it's also, you're not really using, at least I haven't been comfortably using the fingernail portion of it. It's more of the meat of your finger, which I push it out. So that's going to be on either hand. That's that use. You can use it, just you don't need to get a lot of wrist to that, but it's not really one that you're going to be using the middle finger flick, but you can do that as well. But that's the only real deployment side. You can shake it out slightly if you really give it a hard shake, that you really shouldn't be doing anyway. But the retention on it is fairly good for this one here. You can also look at the knife roll to see how this is going to fit in your pocket for this blade. And then there might be some other deep carry clip coming in at some point, and then maybe if there's enough people looking for it, I might want to reach out to like Pop's Custom Clips, and he could probably just throw one together as well, which will probably be like a $25–30 clip to put on the knife to get that deep carry, because this is not a deep carry, but it does allow for a pretty good purchase to actually pull it out of your pocket. So that was some of their thought behind it when they're building it, as far as a use more than aesthetics. So that's kind of that purpose for that. And this one comes out to 4.3 ounces and then 122 grams. And then looking at the actual grind of this knife, it does have a fairly fine serration. So some of the other ones that you're going to see on the chart, or some of the picture of it for that pocket microscope, has a lot more heavy grind, where it's like you can really see the serrations and the lines on it. This one's pretty good. So it actually is using a higher grit when they're actually doing that final edge on it, which is a nice thing for the use. And also we're going to have basically the pictures of the height and also the width. So we'll start off with the blade side for it. And then you can kind of see that measurement on this side. And then we'll also look at the handle as far as the measurement for the height and also the width on it. So you can kind of see a lot of those things for this blade here. So the sharpness test, that is what I'm still using the best media testing. So the two pulls that I did on that came out to 302. So 302 is the high-end cutlery. So not a super sharp edge, but it is still a sharp edge that it's going to be used for. I picked this one up when it was still the Massdrop, the initial offering. So it was $109.99. So at that price, it's a really good knife to pick up. And then even the secondary offering was $119.99 for some of the ones that were left over. And so that's kind of where I think I was having issues with this blade, is just for my own understanding as far as how the purchasing would go, how the serial numbers would go, that like if you ordered it earlier, maybe you would get a lower number for the knife. That was at least my mentality or my thought behind it, because I think I ordered when it was like, I was like the first 10 people to order the knife. I set an alarm, I woke up and I got on there and I ordered. And then, so I was like, yeah, I should be getting maybe a knife that's under 10. And I got serial number 476. So it is serialized, so they did meet that requirement. But again, it was just my mentality behind it. So that's kind of some of the issue, where it's not like, it already has that feeling behind it, where it's just like, darn, I would have wanted a lower number. It's just a number, but it was just that mentality, and it was kind of hindered my thought on the knife, just for that little kind of a piddly thing to think about for it. But that was one of the things there as far as that numbering system. It's like, yeah, for the serial number, to have them go through all the work to serialize it, and then sticker on boxes, and then just fulfill orders and just grab off the shelf. It was just, for me, I just wanted to have a lower number, just because I felt that I ordered earlier, get a lower number. But either way, so let's move on from that one. That is something that was just there for my mind. So look at some of the other blades here. You can actually look at the matrix right there. And then we'll look at the step here, Asus or Asus. And then you also have a new blade out for this one, which is really a small blade. It's probably like the knife itself is like yay big. So they just released that one. Then going to be the comparison for it, kind of the full-size Griptilian. And then that's one thing about the Griptilian, it has a much different sound when you're using it. This one has more of a solid. Everything just kind of opens and closes. There's not that thwack when you utilize it, which is, it depends on your purpose on it, but I kind of like that as far as the sound. But that's going to be that sizing there. Then you're going to have the cold steel code 4. So blade size is not that much different. And then when you go to actually cutting edge, it's pretty much the same for that. But then the handle on the code 4 is just so much bigger, but also it is very much thinner too. So for that more of a full-size blade, it is really quite thin. And then we're going to look at also this one here. There's a Rat 2. And then we have the Leak. And then this is the Civivi Backlash. So those are some of the things there. For buy, bar, or avoid, I still feel this is a good buy for it. So hopefully they're going to have more drops for this knife because I think it would do well. Normally for the secondary drops, they offer different colorations for the handle. So there's a G10. It has a different, pretty good as far as a grip to it. So it's not something that's really slick. But I don't know, it's just a really solid build for kind of that first major production knife that was when the Axis lock was kind of free or open game to actually use it, where their patent ran out. So this one was kind of that first real push on that. And then they did actually go through and actually talk with the folks that invented the Axis lock, and then they actually got the nod to go forward. So they're still trying to, it's kind of a touchy situation still because people still feel that this is a knockoff. They're using Benchmade's lock, but it actually was a lock that was licensed to Benchmade. So that's just how it goes for it. So you have a great time with it, have that time period where it's patented, and then kind of goes from there. So pick it up if you can. Used market, I probably wouldn't go very high on it. So probably stick somewhere to that that secondary offering, that 120, maybe 140. You could probably do it there, but anything more than that, like $200, yeah, don't do that for it. But pick it up if you like it. That is the Massdrop Perpetua, built by Millit. And let me know in the comments down below as far as what you think. Sorry the video ran a little bit long as well, so if you stayed with it, great. Leave some comments, interact, meet some people down in the comments, interact with each other, and thanks for your time.